Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I'm going to go ahead and take back the term inner city. So here I am training inside a gym deep in the inner city, deep inside the inner city of Houston, inside the loop, and decided to do some bench pressing again for you guys today. So for those who are following the series, I haven't bench pressed in a year and a half. I've been overhead pressing, and I'm going to rebuild my bench press back up. And right now I'm doing mostly accumulation work. Triples for speed and power, because again, I'm not going to gain a lot of muscle right now. I'm cutting, although I've seen my chest and stuff seems to be getting bigger, and some days even my triceps feel like they're getting bigger. But you know what, it may not be real hypertrophy, because people say, man, you shouldn't be gaining that fast, and I'm not, because I'm not blasting gear. So it's very possibly just them getting more volume of work and transient storage factors. They're probably just holding a little more glycogen because I eat a high carb diet and I'm training those muscles more. That simple. So they may not actually be growing. Today, it felt a little awkward. This was my last day of doing 7 sets, which means next time I got to go to 8 sets. All about that accumulation work. Got to get that 8 sets. Because like I said, we're going to use 245 for pause, close grip, until we get to 10 sets of 3. Then we'll increase the weight and go from there. So that's the next benchmark, is to get to 10 sets, but we're going to do it gradually. Now today, I'm not going to lie, it felt heavy. And it didn't feel heavy because of the weight. Notice I'm using a thicker bar today. Someone left a thicker bar than I've been using on that bench. And you know what? I didn't feel like changing the bar. I thought, what the hell, I'll use it. But it felt more awkward. And when something feels more awkward, what does that mean? It might feel more difficult because you're not used to it. Everything's about motor pattern learning. But you know what? I need to be able to bench with whatever grip bar I'm given. It doesn't matter what I've gotten used to over the last 6 workouts. Need to be able to handle whatever bar I have available, whatever bar I happen to get under. So this was the last workout with this exact set, rep, and weight scheme. And I got stuck doing something a little different. Because it had a slightly different feel in my hand, I felt like I was slower. I felt slower. Now, I'm going to watch it on camera here because I haven't even looked at the footage. I just put this up here and started voicing over. Yeah, it doesn't look quite as fast. Although my last set, because I took a nice long break, was actually pretty fast. My last set, I climbed under it. It felt like I just screamed through it. But you know what I think part of it is? I felt off today. I felt like the thicker bar felt awkward, and I think I didn't set up tight enough because in my head, it felt awkward. And this is how psychology will mess you up. I noticed I didn't get as tight today on my bench as other days. Now, what have I explained in the past about getting tight? I'm always like, do it right, get it tight, right? You get set in tight, you can pop off your chest easier. The bar explodes easier. You have better neuromuscular efficiency. You can generate more speed strength. Because I felt looser. See how much harder it is for me to just stand up onto my feet off the bench because I'm not set in as tight. And the sets where I'm not set in as tight, I'm not as explosive. So again, learning lesson right here. Valuable lesson. What I've been teaching everyone, I've been talking about for a couple of weeks now. The tighter you get on the bench press, the more explosive you are. The tighter you get on a deadlift, the more explosive you are too, right? We all know that. Well, I didn't get set in tight. Now that looked good. That looked good. I must have got tighter on this set because look at those. Those are fast. Fast. But some of these sets aren't. And like this one right here, I felt like this one, I think, it might have been the next one, like the 6th one. The 6th one just felt like the slowest one, so I took a nice long break. And when I got to that last set, it exploded. It flew up. Flew up. It was very explosive on it. So I was really happy with it. But a lot of that was I took time to go coach Brittany on her box squats. She did 2 sets of box squats in the time before I did that 7th set. And when I had a nice break and a chance to coach her, I'm in the mode of coaching and getting her technique set up. It forced me to think about biomechanics, think about technique and getting tight. And so when I sat in on it, because I had a break, I had time to fully recover, let my nervous system get ready for it again. It was really explosive. Now this one is my 6th one, and this one felt slow. You know, I'm sitting here, look at my feet dancing. Now, again, about practicing what you preach. I didn't practice what I preached there, did I? Look at me all flopping my feet around. That'll make you weaker on the bottom of your bench press, right? At least if you're going to pause bench, guys who bounce off their chest do feet dancing. See, that was a little slower than I'd like. A little slower. That set felt relatively hard. There we go. See, that was a little grindy, that third one. That wasn't explosive. So I needed this last set to get my head straight, because this is the last one. This one's got to count. This is the one that we're going to adapt to the most. This is the very last set. This is with the most metabolic fatigue, the most fatigue built up. If I can generate speed on it, I'm good to go. So I took a nice break, got in. I'm like, let me get focused, get tight, and get explosive. Fast. I was thinking in my head, fast, speed equals power, speed equals power. And I came in this 7th set. It was pretty fast. I was happy with it. I got up off the bench easy, just stood straight up, easy. Then I did some behind the neck press again. Surprising, because, I felt a little slow on those 7 sets of bench press. I get to my behind the neck press, and it was easy. Normally I've been doing, 7 or 8 reps as a finishing set for my shoulders and triceps after all that benching. So I would expect, it would almost dictate that if I felt a little awkward on the bench, that I was going to be down on strength on this. I came in and I cranked out 10 reps like it was nothing. I was just like, what? How did that just get cranked out like that? That was ridiculously easy. How did this happen? Because watch, bring it out. I'm just like, dude, like nothing. It's like, okay, this still feels like a warm-up. And for those asking, yes, I am touching the trap. I'm not pausing on the trap on a lot of these, but I am making contact. Now, that being said, is that a possible explanation for extra reps? Yeah, because I really did this touch and go. Because again, I'm just worrying about a little bit of metabolic fatigue there, but realistically, that's probably why I cranked out 10. Be honest, I'll just give an honest assessment. Probably why. But I think what a lot of that comes down to is, I think the bench today, I don't think it was a fatigue factor, because I didn't feel fatigue. I felt great coming in. It just being a little slower, I think it was because I was using a different bar, and because the different bar felt slightly awkward in my hands, it affected me psychologically, and therefore everything just felt awkward. I wasn't generating the force that I needed to really make it as explosive as I would really ideally like. But you know what? That's psychological. That was in my head. It wasn't physiological. It's because, the bar felt awkward, so I probably didn't set up as tight as I should have. I let little minor things get in the way, and you can't do that. You can't do that at all. If you behave that way, it'll mess with your workouts. And so that's the other thing too. When you get in the gym and you're going to put in serious training sessions towards something, focus is important. Having your mind clear is important. And if anything, I find training itself can help clear my mind. And normally that's never a problem. Outside stuff rarely affects me in the gym. And if it does, it's time to go home, because I'm not going to be focused on a workout. So today it was just me using the different bar. And I have a feeling that because that felt awkward and heavy, that when I go back to the slightly thinner bars that I like, for the next workout, when I try to do my 8 sets, I think it's going to be easier. And that's kind of the nice thing too. When you do something that feels a little more awkward than you're used to, more difficult, kind of like going to just a 1-inch deficit on the deadlift, when you go back to what you're more used to, it just feels easier and lighter. And so I kind of like that idea of that. And that's one reason I was willing to use a different bar for the final one, because I'm like, it's going to be different. It's going to be totally different. By the way, doing some abs here for you guys. I do abs every time I go to the gym. I do standing crunches. I do a lot of volume on those. I'm one of those guys that I believe doing some core work every workout probably isn't a bad idea, particularly when you do a lot of standing full body exercises like I do. And that way your core doesn't become a weakness. Now, I'm going to talk about these behind the neck presses again. A lot of people, again, they ask about my grip, and they need to understand, look at the grip I'm using. Some people would say, hey, isn't that hard on your wrist? No, because you're not going to behind the neck press as much as you bench press, are you? Seriously? So if that's the case, and you're used to having a racked position on your hands from front squats, push presses, things like that, which I am, that's just such a light weight that it's not a problem at all for my wrist. It's insignificant. They don't get sore at all. Honestly, front squats leave far more fatigue in my wrist, even racked properly, than this does. It's not even close. And in this case, because I've got the false grip and I've got it kind of back like that, it allows better rotation. Notice my elbows can rotate more. It's safer on the shoulder joints, and that's the reason I do it that way. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.